Motor, J Motor, J Motor, J Motor, recognize Heckler House, Heckler House. Oh, 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 oh.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week, or this past coming week, there really wasn't anything major going on, except for we're still doing the whole Trump indictment thing, and it's not going to go anywhere. The people are fed up. Even Democrats are seeing what's going on. They notice that, this is all an attack against Trump to keep him from running. It's election interference. The FBI, the CIA, NSA, AFT, whatever, all the three-letter, law organizations, they all need to be revamped. We need to get the corruption out of these law institutions. Same thing with a lot of your judges and stuff. They all need to be revamped, redone, made known what is in the Constitution, and that's all they can go by. Anyways, there's plenty of other channels that's doing the political crap, talk about it. Let's get on to what I really want to talk to you about this week. First thing is I just got done watching the Flash movie that just came out, and everyone's talking about how trashy it is and how it bombed at the box office. Another flop, just like Across the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. It's actually a flop. They won't even show it over there in the Far East. They banned it. It can't be shown over there, and I wonder why. I mean, wouldn't have anything to do with a particular group going after kids, but whatever. It flopped hard too. It looked like it was going to do well over here, but then it started flopping bad. But same thing with this new Flash movie. DC made a mistake when they brung in James Gunn, even though he really didn't have anything to do with this one. They screwed up because he's woke as fuck, and he's going to screw everything up. He's already mentioned it. Nobody even knows who Blue Beetle is, but he's claiming that's going to be the first part of his new DC EU, whatever the fuck, it's not going to work. No one knows who that character is. Not really. There's a few people, but the vast majority don't even know who that is. They don't care about that character. Anyways, this movie. Now, this movie is all about is a flashpoint, which, is a point in time in the comics where he's able to figure out he can go back into the past and time travel, and he figures he could save his mother, but later on realizes he has to let her die to correct all the mistakes he made by letting her live to begin with. Basically, he splits the universe into the multiverse in the DCU. Now, the TV shows kind of explored this a little bit, but neither the TV show or this movie goes along with the comics. Of course it don't. They always think they can make it better and write it better than the original creator. Fuck off to them fucking writers in Hollywood. They can't. they don't use the resource material and do the original story, which most people's never even heard of or seen. And I don't get why they just don't do the original story, which made the fans. It's so dumb. But anyways, everybody's complaining about the CGI in this movie. Yes, it was bad. It was horrible. It wasn't great. The story is what got me. The story was lame. It sucked so bad. The only good thing in this movie, I thought, was Michael Keaton. That's the only, and that's what they kept promoting, because they knew it would draw in the fans to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. Everyone likes Michael Keaton as Batman. But the old one-liners he used in the past, they're trying to use it again. It kind of was cringe when they would do that. Other than that, he was the best thing in the movie. Surprisingly, even though this is not Supergirl, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The original Supergirl in the comics and in the original movies was blonde, blue-eyed, white, and wore a skirt. So this is not Supergirl. I don't know what the fuck she is, but it ain't Supergirl. And that's not her fucking suit. I don't fucking deal with the stupid multiverse bullshit. It's bullshit. You can't use that as an excuse to have a complete change of the character. It don't work that way. Sorry. The original comics, the original stories, that's all that's canon. This shit ain't canon. It's some fucking retard who got lazy and decided to change everything by saying, oh, it's a multiverse. Fuck that multiverse shit. Anyways, I was surprised that they didn't go all boss bitch with, or made her a Mary Sue. They didn't. It was kind of surprising. So the character was okay, but they should have named her something else. Anyways, Superman never came to Earth. Zod kills him as a baby. He says he intercepts the fucking pod he was in as a baby, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. I don't care if this is supposed to be a different universe or not. It's fucking retarded. He's in the Phantom Zone when Kal-El is sent as a baby in the pod to Earth. He's in the Phantom Zone. There's no way for him to intercept him. Of course, the movie doesn't explain this. So that's fucking retarded right there. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Anyways, spoiler alert. The main bad guy is, of course, the Black Flash. He's got to fight the Black Flash, which he created. That's the whole point of him. He meets his younger self, and his younger self, don't want to give up on trying to save their mother, so he keeps going back in time trying to change shit, and eventually becomes whatever his name is, Saboteur or whatever the fuck it is. He becomes the Black Flash. They get in a big old fight. Towards the end, you have some cameos, because you have all the universes colliding with one each other. Even Nicolas Cage, real bad CGI of, Reeves and Supergirl and the actual Supergirl, and then fucking, Adam West and what is his name? Jay Garrett, the original Flash, blah, 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 it was just kind of dumb. And then at the end, you get this fucking, You know, he thinks he's corrected everything and fixed it all. And instead of Ben Affleck getting out of the Batmobile or car or whatever at the end, it's fucking George Clooney. Like, I really need to see that cameo. It's just, get the fuck out of here. And then you have another post-credit scene where he's with Jason Momoa, and Jason Momoa's acting like a fucked up, retarded drunk, and that's the end of the movie, dude. It's just, that's it. It's dumb. I mean, it's flat out retarded. This movie sucked. I gave it 2 thumbs down. I absolutely hated it. I did not like this. Like I said, Michael Keaton's the only good part in the whole fucking movie. That's it. Rest of it sucked. But that's my thoughts on the new Flash. Let's move on. Next thing I wanted to talk to you about was, I watched not too long ago the sci-fi television series from the 70s called Space 1999. Now, the show was okay. Kind of reminded me of the original Star Trek, sort of. But, oh my god, the intro was terrible. You know, that dun dun dun, you know, that was fine at first, but then it goes into this fucking weird ass fucking disco crap, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know, it was terrible. I hated disco. The vast majority of disco music, 70s music, just sucked. And that's what they did. They did this disco crap, and it was just terrible. One of the worst theme songs I've ever heard. Anyways, you had, you know, the female doctor, Helen Hunt, I think her name was. I can't remember. Of course, the main star was, you know, the guy who plays John Koenig, the commander. Then you had Victor. He was just like this head scientist. I don't understand why he was there, honestly. And then you had Paul and Sandra and Alan. And they were all part of the team. Now, every now and then you'd have this black guy on there too who dealt with the computer. Everything is dealt around this fucking computer. Like, what the fuck, man? They can't make decisions or do anything without consulting the computer first. And then the computer can't even fucking talk. This is the future. But they can't fucking talk. And it spits out fucking pieces of paper that the computer guy, the black dude, he reads off to them. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Seriously? Anyways, the whole story is they're on this moon base. Apparently, they created a base on the moon, and somehow I don't remember exactly what happens, but something happens and it knocks the moon out of orbit, or the base is on the moon. And they're all on it, and they get knocked out of orbit. And now they're floating off into space. So we lost the moon, and they call it Alpha Base or some shit like that. And they're going off into space, and of course they meet aliens and shit along the way, because they think they're going to stop at a certain point in space or whatever. They're going to come across this other planet that they've been observing, and that's where they're headed for. Now each suit, I thought it was strange that each uniform had different colors, like stripes. For the most part, I hated 70s clothes. They just fashion. It just looks stupid. These big fat ass boots with these bell-bottom fucking pants and turtleneck shirts. It was just, Anyways, they had these stripes, and I think the tan, they had some tan colors. I'm not really sure what the tan stood for. I think white was medical, because, you know, Dr. Helen Hunt, or whatever her name is, she always wore white. And the orange red, like the dark orange, I think it was tactical. The purple was security. Light orange, I believe, was engineering. Brown, the only brown one I saw was the black guy who was dealing with the computer. So tech, computer maybe, I don't know. Victor didn't have a stripe on his uniform. And I'm not sure what yellow was. Pilot, I don't know, communications, whatever. Sandra wore that. And then, Commander Koenig, he wore a dark green stripe. And he was the only one I've seen do that. Now, there was one episode where they have a guy who's like the Council of Earth or whatever. He's in the episode, and I'm like, why the fuck is he only being shown now? It's like towards the end of the season 1. I was like, why did they wait so long to show him if he's in charge of everything? If he's actually running everything, if he's over the commander, because that's the way it seemed like. It made no sense. That's the only time they show him. Now, once you get to season 2, they change everything. Now they're wearing these jackets with pictures of themselves on the jacket, and they still have the colors and everything, but it was just weird. They have all these patches on now on their jacket, front of their jacket, with their picture, which was a black and white picture with like a name tag. It was weird. They pick up this girl who joins the crew, and she's alien. She's like the last of her kind, and she can, shape change. It was just weird. She becomes the new scientist, because they got rid of Victor. The guy who played Victor, he's gone. Nothing's explained on how he disappeared. They also got rid of, I think it was Paul. Yeah, they got rid of Paul, which Paul and Sandra was having a relationship, and then Paul's out of the picture. He's not in season 2. They bring in another girl who does something similar to Sandra. Her name was Yosoka. Some Japanese chick. And then they bring in Tony. He's like the replacement of Paul, and he runs security. I don't know. It was strange. And then on the first season, the commander always explained stuff before the show started. So the good doctor, Helena, again, I can't remember her character's last name off the top of my head. Helena, she's doing the captain's log, like on Star Trek, Stardate 1.5, we're entering the forbidden zone, blah, 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 that kind of thing. She's doing that now every episode before the episode starts. And of course, they go for a little bit, and then they bring in their theme, and they changed it a little bit, but it's pretty much this more disco crap is the theme, and it sucks. But anyways, they do that. Like I said, they changed up the uniforms just a little bit, not much, and they got rid of some of the characters from the first one, which they don't explain where they go or what happened to them. And then they have a few new characters, and they don't explain where they came from either. They're just there. Anyways, the uniforms are just god awful. They're terrible looking. I couldn't stand them. The show's okay for what it was, you know. This was 70s. Star Trek, the original Star Trek was in the 60s, late 60s. This one's more towards the late 70s. So I don't know why they couldn't change things a little bit. Naturally the Eagle One or the Eagles or whatever, they looked really silly. But that's to be expected. I understand how they're surviving if the moon's being blown out into fucking space. They run in, you know, all the aliens look human for the most part. Some of the stuff was just kind of really silly, but it was okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. Yeah, it was alright. I give it thumbs up, thumbs down. Space 1999. It's worth a one-time watch, especially if you like sci-fi. I thought the story, the plot, them being lost in space the way they were, was interesting. I'm not too sure about them being stuck on the moon and the moon being knocked out of orbit, but I could have gotten with, you know, they were on a space station and, you know, perhaps they were on, you know, a different moon or something and they got knocked out of orbit. To me, that would have made more sense, like they were on one of the moons of Saturn or Jupiter or something like that. But anyways, it was okay. Maybe a one-time watch. Alright, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Okay, movie holics, this week is Action Week. Now, I have a couple more Kung Fu flicks to check out, some 80s Kung Fu flicks. I'm trying to get through these. There's a few more left. And then we'll get to more different type of action flicks. Both of these were done in 1986. Both of them have Cynthia Rothrock in it. The first one is called Millionaires Express. There's no box office numbers for either of these, for worldwide box office numbers. This movie starred Sammo Hung, who also directed it. Rosamund Kwan. And of course Cynthia Rothrock's in it. She plays a villain. Or a bad guy. The movie is basically about this guy. He's done some crappy things. He's kind of a thief, a con artist, and realizes he can't keep doing it. So he goes back to his hometown to try to help out his hometown because he did something to them that really messed up his hometown. He actually has a group of girls that he's like their pimp, and he's in love with the main one. But he keeps putting her off. Anyways, you gotta give me a minute because there's so much mix matched in this movie. There is a bounty hunter after him. You see him at the beginning, and then you see him towards the end of the movie. Now, there's a group of lawmen in this town, his town, that they hear about this train. They steal the money in the town, and then they think they're going to hightail it on this train, get out of town. Now, there's a group of Japanese, there's like 3 Japanese, 2 guys and a woman, and they're protecting some map that shows some Chinese hidden treasure or some shit. They're on the train. There's a group of lawmen that's after them to get this map, and there's a whole bunch of these thugs, thieves, even, and there's a criminal, like a organized crime group. They're also after this map. They're all after this map. Now there's a group of firefighters who end up becoming the cops of this town because the others ran off with the money and was trying to get on the train and get out of there. Apparently they didn't know about the map, but they eventually find out about the map. Sammo Hung's character, he blows up the train track to get the train to stop and have everybody come into the town to try to get them some money or whatever regenerated. At this time, you know, they find the new cops find the old cops who became thieves and jail them, and then a whole bunch of these thugs show up into the town trying to get this map, and there's this big brawl with all these guys trying to get this map from these Japanese guys. Eventually, you know, several of them, the cop guys and Sammo Hung, they get the Japanese people to give them the map because it holds a treasure of China, and it's the right thing to do. It belongs to China, blah blah blah. And so the Japanese leave. They lock up everybody who was involved in trying to steal the map, yada yada yada, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. I've been beginning to notice that a lot of movies that Sammo Hung directs, not only does he star in them, he tries to put a lot of comedy in it that's just not really funny. And then he always waits to like the last 30 minutes to do all the action crap, like fight scenes and stuff. Like there's hardly any fighting in this movie till the very end. Then you get all the fighting all at once, like the last 20 minutes. And if you're not paying real close attention during this movie, you have no idea what's going on because he jumps from one group to another, telling the story. I didn't even know what they were really after till towards the end of the movie. I was like, oh, it's all after this stupid map. Like, what the fuck? I didn't even know that. I just knew it had something to do with the Japanese people, you know. I was just, what the fuck, man? Anyways, yeah, it was okay. I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. You of course have some decent, martial arts action towards the end of the movie, but waiting that long just to get for like 15-20 minutes of action is just, it kind of sucked, to be honest. I could care less about the rest of it. So that's my thoughts on that one. The next one was also done in 1986. It's called Right for Wrongs. Again, no worldwide box office. This starred Bio Yun and, of course, Cynthia Rothrock. Now this one was actually not bad. It was actually pretty good, but it was a different director too. It was more like an actual action flick, you had action scenes throughout the entire movie. So it kept me really interested, because I was like, hey, they're fighting again, right on, So the story is, this Bio Yun, he plays like a lawyer who secretly goes after bad guys who gets off on technicalities and shit when everybody knows they're guilty as fuck at killing people. So he goes after, he becomes kind of like this vigilante. Cynthia Rothrock, she's a cop. She stumbles on him, but she thinks he killed this one guy when he's not the one who killed him. He got beat to the punch by actually her supervisor. He's the bad guy in this. He's going around killing people and left and right. And they end up kind of working together to try to bring him down. Even though at first she doesn't believe him. She's actually goes after him at first. But then she finds out that, who the bad guy is. Again, lots of fighting action in this movie. This is really good. The story wasn't like horrible. Wasn't that great. I mean, it's like Kung Fu. Sorry, not Kung Fu, but a Kung Fu flick. The story's kind of cheesy. The way they act in these, foreign Chinese films or whatever. The acting's strange. It's not really on par. But you get the gist of what's going on, so you can follow along pretty easily. And again, lots of action throughout the entire film. I give this one 2 thumbs up. This one was really good. Definitely check it out if you're into older Kung Fu flicks. This is definitely one to watch. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you can think of any underrated films or movies you are not real popular, not well known, you think I may never have heard of them, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So, until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.